𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒎𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒎𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊 𝒒𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒎𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂 𝒏𝒐𝒕𝒓𝒊𝒈𝒕 𝒏𝒐𝒕𝒓𝒊𝒈𝒕 Taro tarusa, usasa wabadeda, kenkaku wandaha tupakuba. Trawa bukaha, harwa kutaha, kentrawa marita, kakusa wabodeda, 𝒏𝒐𝒕𝒓𝒊𝒈𝒕 𝒏𝒐𝒕𝒓𝒊𝒈𝒕 𝒐𝒐𝒑𝒚𝒓𝒊𝒈𝒆𝒂 Trata marita, kaku bodeda, da uyu amoka, 𝒏𝒐𝒕𝒄𝒍𝒂𝒊𝒆𝒏 Trato marita, harwa kutaha, 𝒏𝒐𝒕𝒓𝒊𝒈𝒕 𝒏𝒐𝒕𝒓𝒊𝒈𝒕
Alright. The mighty Kanaimo is coming to you live again. The song is based on Obia. Dema blow your people. A meme to us a yamba. Yeah, there we go. Anabusane moktola, minya nabusane moktola. Anabusane moktola, minya mim toase. Angosane moktola, manong angosane moktola. Angosane moktola, manong amim toase. Yeah. Nobusane moktola, kompat nobusane moktola. Nobusane moktola, kompat amim toase. Nobusane moktola, kompat nobusane moktola. Nobusane moktola, kompat amim toase. Amripona mimtola, yombra amripona mimtola. Awugupona mimtola, yomba mimtola se. Zamriwena mimtola, yomba zamriwena mimtola. Alekriwena mimtola, yomba mimtola se. Hey! Tabusane wa yomba nurat 𝒄𝒍𝒂𝒊𝒕 Kane tabusane wa yomba nurat 𝒄𝒍𝒂𝒊𝒕 Kane tabusane wa yomba nurat 𝒄𝒍𝒂𝒊𝒕 Kane tabusane wa yomba nurat 𝒄𝒍𝒂𝒊𝒕. Yeah. The Kanaimo is here. All the Kanaimo people, big up yourself, man. Yeah.
Here I come. Have you ever been somewhere when there is no one else around? And the only voice you hear is if you sing yourself a song. Would you like to be around when there is nothing else to see? On a mountain or green forest, as peaceful as can be. Talking about my homeland, Guyana's hinterland, a place of relaxation and pure meditation. Talking about my homeland, Guyana's hinterland, with its natural beauty, a place for anyone. Yeah. Do you ever think about our singing waterfalls? The beaches on our coastline, where the giant turtles are. Would you like to spend some time living naturally? Know the taste of splendid water. Here I come. Have you ever been somewhere when there is no one else around? And the only voice you hear is if you sing yourself a song. Would you like to be around when there is nothing else to see? On a mountain or green forest, as peaceful as can be. Talking about my homeland, Guyana's hinterland, a place of relaxation and pure meditation. Talking about my homeland, Guyana's hinterland, with its natural beauty, a place for anyone. Yeah.
𝒐𝒒𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂 Tomato pique, tomato pi. Tomato pique, tomato pi. Tomato pique, tomato pi. Taro tarusa, usa sawa badeda. Kenta kru wandaha tu pakuba. Trawa bukaha, harwa putaha. Kentrawa marita, kakusawa bodeda. Tomata pique, tomata pi. Tomata pique, tomata pi. Tomata pique, tomata pi. Tomata pique, tomata pi.
Morning, guys. Just share the live. Share the live. We're about to get started here this morning on Livewire. Welcome to all those persons already tuned in. Happy Heritage. Happy Heritage. Share the live, guys. Share the live. Just enjoying some indigenous music from our indigenous brothers and sisters. Good morning once again and welcome down to the Livewire. It's wonderful being here once again with you. Today's the last day of the week. It's Friday. We're heading into the weekend. And what a great way to start the weekend with the beginning of Heritage Month 2023. And the activities kick off from tonight, folks. Please, if you have time, go out to some of these activities. The heritage is being celebrated under the theme sustaining our cultural heritage and identity whilst contributing to One Guyana. I love it. Staying true to who they are, our indigenous people, while still contributing to One Guyana, making Guyana a great place. And they are highlighting their contributions, their ideas, and what they want to see Guyana look like in the future at the National Two Shows Conference, where we see leaders of all indigenous communities represented, the voice of the indigenous people being heard. So over the past few days, we've had the president, the prime minister, the vice president, members of cabinet, members of the National Assembly, heads of agencies, whether it be joint services, social services, whatever it is, going to the conference center there to deal with whatever issues those indigenous persons would raise coming out of their communities. So I am really happy with the way things are going and the development that is coming to these communities, these indigenous communities. So morning to all the persons tuned in. Lash PA, Mr. Raghubir, tuning in all the way from Toronto. Asha Wallace, morning. I hope you got all them school bags packed for the event today here at the Diamond Grove Market Square. Carla Thomas, good morning to you. Jamila, good morning. Geeta, Raji Miraj, good morning. Keith Adams, Nirmala, morning to all you guys tuned in already. Please remember to share the live as you tune in. Share the live. Morning to you, Lance. Morning, and thank you for being here with us again once again this morning. Good morning to all the people in Region 6, New Amsterdam area there. Good morning to all those persons tuned in from the news desk. Special good morning to you. If you're looking for news and information on what's happening in and around Guyana, more so in the Region 6 area there, you can check out the news desk page on Facebook, where you'll be updated on everything and anything that you need to find out in relation to current affairs in Guyana. So if you have a chance today, go across to the news desk page, like the page, follow the page as well. Follow Comrade Courdel Jones. Follow me on Facebook. I'm on TikTok, Mr. 592. I'm on YouTube as well, Mr. 592. Follow. Morning to all the persons in 𝒐𝒊𝒔𝒄𝒍𝒂𝒊𝒎. Good morning, and again, happy Amerindian Heritage Month to my indigenous brothers and sisters. As I said yesterday, I love things indigenous. I think my first heritage that I went to was with Minister Pauline Sukai eons ago. I was working at the then Government Information Agency. No, I think it was NCN before I went to Gina. I was working at NCN, and I can't remember the year, but we went to Lake Mainstay, the village just outside of Lake Mainstay. I can't remember the name. I think it's Mainstay Village, but yeah. So we went to that village there. They had a lovely pageant. The people were very welcoming. We partied into the night. I mean, shoot, we can't beat the indigenous people when it comes to having a good time. Special good morning to Miss Tiziana de Freitas. Good morning. How are you? I'm happy to see that you're tuned in this morning. I hope that you're having a better day. I know the week has been rough, but it's all about persevering and pushing through. And I hope you shared the live when you came on, Tiziana. Share the live, right? And remember, as I told you, these things is a process. Just go through the process and, allow things to take its course. It mightn't be the course you want, but at the end of the day, know that somebody greater than you is in charge, and things will work itself out. Anyway, folks, that's it with the pleasantries. Time to get into the program. I'm going to give you an update on the events for heritage as we go through the program a little closer to wrapping up. Yesterday, as you would know, our vice president had his press conference and touched on a range of topics, especially government's commitments to the Amerindian community. Now, Vice President 𝒏𝒂𝒔𝒆 highlighted that government's commitment to fulfilling its manifesto promises to the Amerindian communities in Guyana is well on track. He emphasized that they have achieved over 90% of their promises. And what can we say in relation to that? We see the solar farms, we see the solar project for the individual homes in the indigenous communities. We see government providing ICT services, ICT hubs. We see government working with places like Kapui, where they're doing the cage aquaculture, where they're farming the tambaqui. And it has been documented that this year's production, I think it was double or it's more than 50% of last year's production. So we see that is building the village economy in that area there, creating other sources of income from the normal farming and other avenues of income generation in those areas, right? The VP also touched on the land titling activities, noting that the government has resumed land titling activities in Amerindian communities, which were previously halted. They provided funding and support for this initiative. Now, one thing I want to touch on before I go on, if you remember, there was a certain minister or government official in the opposition who were saying indigenous people wanted too much. Guyana's forest people wanted too much. And if they want from oil, they can't get land. Now, Guyana's indigenous people are benefiting equally across the board. Well, it has resumed now from the hiatus in 2015 to 2020. Right? Remember the statements made by these people. And for some reason, I think the persons on the other side feel persons in Guyana or Guyanese have short-term memory loss, but they know exactly what is going on. The vice president went on to touch on the rehiring of CSOs, noting that the government has rehired over 2,000 community support officers whose salaries contribute significantly to the village economies. This has led to a positive impact on employment in Amerindian villages. In terms of infrastructure investment, significant investment have been made in infrastructure, including roads, hospitals, schools, and such things in the hinterland communities. This includes concrete roads in various settlements, improving accessibility and overall quality of life. I know for sure I was in, is it Dark Point or Agatash? Dark Point or Agatash? One, I think both. So I was in Dark Point a few months ago where the concrete road was done in that area. And then we went over to Agatash where the concrete road in Agatash was under construction. These are two predominantly indigenous communities in Region 7, just on the outskirts of 𝒏𝒐𝒕𝒆 there. So, you know, we see that government is investing just as we see concrete roads here on the coast. These things are being done in hinterland communities, right? I know there were several concrete roads done in Region 1, some in Region 8 as well, right? In relation to healthcare and education, 4 hospitals are planned for Regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, with a substantial budget allocation. Additionally, new schools and schools-related infrastructure are being built to provide better educational facilities for Amerindian children. In relation to renewable energy, the government has ordered 30,000 solar panels to provide renewable energy to households in the hinterland and riverine areas, benefiting both Amerindians and non-Amerindian community. in relation to the low carbon development strategy. And mind you, this is a synopsis of the Vice President's press conference yesterday, and some of the things that he touched on in relation to government delivering to indigenous persons in this country. Unlike what was happening in the coalition days, where indigenous persons were berated by coalition supporters and members of parliament, called all sorts of names. So look at this contrast in relation to a government that cares and is interested in moving the country forward. Rather, when you and then when you look at a government that was there claiming to care about Afro-Guyanese, claiming to care about indigenous Guyanese, and basically doing nothing for them. Is there any indigenous community out there or somebody from the APA, from one of these communities, that can highlight a major project in an indigenous community done by the coalition? Anybody? You can hit me up in the comments if you'd like, or at the number at the bottom of the screen, right? And let me know. There's nothing that you can point to, right? No, 30,000 solar panels are going to be provided for the households in hinterland and riverine communities, right? And this will impact both Amerindian and non-Amerindian communities. So I was talking about the low carbon development strategy. So the government has, the Vice President highlighted that the government has successfully advanced the low carbon development strategy, achieving forest certification and securing favorable deals for forest carbon credits. And this will generate significant revenue for Guyana. And whatever revenue it generates for Guyana, a percentage of that goes directly to indigenous communities, which we have seen happen already for this year. Now, the Vice President also touched on equality in fund distribution. Despite opposition from some groups, 15% of the first tranche of funds from the forest carbon credits has been distributed to all 242 villages, with strict requirements in place on villages to submit utilization plans and demonstrate community support. Right? So as the Vice President highlighted, they had to show a proper plan. They had to show that they had consensus in the village. They had to show how much meetings they had and that everybody signed on. Or the majority, 2/3 of the community would have signed on to the project saying, yes, this is what we wanted. And that has a positive impact. The funds from the carbon credits have had a transformative impact on Amerindian communities, significantly improving their living conditions and development opportunities. Then he also highlighted future opportunities, the Vice President, noting that government is exploring additional opportunities for revenue generation from forest carbon credits, such as carbon removals, which could further benefit Guyana's economy. Now, the Vice President also criticized persons who are opposing development in certain quarters, right? He criticized the opposition of the APA for attempting to block the funds and accused them of representing not representing the best interests of indigenous people. He highlighted their past attempt to hinder the low carbon development strategy. And I'd like to bring some person's attention to a video I saw on YouTube by the APA talking about mining in Chinese landing, I think. Most of the images used in that video are not from Guyana. And that is the type of deception persons need to be aware about. Most of the images used in that documentary are not from Guyana. the mining sites that you see are not from Guyana. The images are not from Guyana. So the APA continues to misrepresent and try to block development of indigenous people. Does the APA have representation from 242 villages? Do they have representatives sitting around a table from 242 villages? The APA? No. And now they're trying to say the NTC, which has broad representation across the board, cannot speak on behalf of indigenous people. They have the right to speak. And all these are agents of the PNC, APNU. All of these. So if you remember Valda Lawrence's comment, how does that go over with Miss Sandra Granger, who's indigenous, when Valda Lawrence was saying something, calling indigenous people the B word? How does that go over with Sandra Granger? How does that go over with Elson Lowe? How does that go over with Valerie Garida Lowe? How does that go over with this Henry guy? I can't remember his first name, but he's a member of parliament. He hosts a program, Nation Watcher, some nonsense like that. How does that go over with them? When your party comrade, your political comrade, addressing persons of your ethnicity in such a derogatory way. It's weird. Anyway, moving on, the vice president went on to talk about sugar workers and some of the recent activity. So the recent strike by sugar workers has prompted criticism from some opposition figures like Ramjitan, who inaccurately stated that government is reluctant to meet with sugar workers, implying an ethnic bias. Now, it is essential, and the vice president clarified that the government is open to discussion with all stakeholders, but cannot ignore the opposition's history in undermining the sugar industry. The government has actively supported the sugar industry and sugar workers since taking office, and that has been on record. Now, I'd like to take y'all down memory lane, because remember, I say, persons in the opposition and some media houses as well, they suffer from short-term memory loss. Y'all remember this here?
You want us to employ your people because we are very strong in the sugar estate areas, and we must pump more. We must pump more. No, we will certainly have to bring it to an end.
Y'all remember that? Y'all see Annette in the back there. I don't think she was minister yet. She was minister. She's looking a little humble still, but y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Let me look at it one more time.
You want us to employ your people because we are very strong in the sugar estate areas, and we must pump more. We must pump more. No, we will certainly have to bring it to an end.
Certainly have to bring it to an end. Now, this man here come to play, he representing sugar workers. Kemraj Ramjitan coming to play, representing sugar workers. You for real, Kemraj, MP, former minister? You for real? Your government closed down the sugar industry, threw thousands of sugar workers on the breadline. People could send the children to school, you take with it because you care. So they didn't even have the 10,000 to send the children to school. So by extension, you close down the sugar industry. Those workers then had no place to go. The taxi drivers and the bus drivers who taking them to work every day back and forth in had the customers. The shops where they used to shop at, they ain't got money to go and shop. The people who used to sell food and egg ball outside the sugar estate, they lose their business. Now imagine everybody who lose something, the bus driver, the shopkeeper, the sugar worker, the cane cutter, the lady who got a little stall outside the sugar estate. Each of them persons at least got 2 people depending on them. So when you do the multiplication, which is usually hard for these persons at PNC, PNU, you see how much persons were affected? That is what Comrade Ramjatan was just talking about. We have to put a stop to it, having those persons have an income. Firing the CSOs. 2,000 CSOs went home. So how could Comrade Ramjatan know? He represented the interests of sugar workers. Comrade Ramjatan head could be good. How could he play he representing sugar workers? So that's why the vice president had to deal with it yesterday. So let's have a quick look at some of the vice president's response.
You want us to employ your people because we are very strong in the sugar estate areas, and we must pump more. We must pump more.
These sugar workers, this is like the Kool-Aid again. The same people who destroy the industry turn up now, Ramjatan and the others, with no credibility whatsoever. So he told the people, the sugar workers, he's going to get them to come here and speak with Ali. Now, he couldn't get the sugar workers to meet Granger, and he was part of the coalition. And do you think President Ali would want to see Ramjatan anywhere in his office or anybody he brings to talk about sugar, given their track record, this sordid history of disruption of the industry? And the workers who brought him here too, or were led by him, they are part of the Kool-Aid too. I'm not making it clear, because if they think that they forgot the short history of the sugar industry and would bring a person like Ramjatan, have him lead them here to talk about sugar, they got to be crazy if they think we're going to engage with them.
Yeah. So I was glad the vice president took some time to deal with that yesterday. Comrade Ramjatan, you should be ashamed to even look in the direction of sugar. You notice Moses ain't going up that side. Moses disappeared. Nobody, anybody, when last you see Moses not gonna move to? When? I think he's from that side. Moses got sense. He hiding in the corner. I don't know what Comrade Ramjatan trying to see around the place. I don't know what direction he's looking in or what he's looking at. Right? Because how could Comrade Ramjatan go to play he representing sugar workers? And I'm glad the vice president said the people he bring, they're drinking the Kool-Aid too. You forget it's Comrade Ramjatan who sent y'all home. You forget it's Comrade Ramjatan who sent y'all home. Well, not him personally, but his government, the government that he was part of. Comrades, they send y'all home, cut out your money, close on the estate, sell out the estate at Wales for scrap metal. Y'all forget. And had no alternative for sugar workers, none whatsoever, nothing planned. Or probably they had told the US to plan. Moving along, the vice president also touched on audit expertise and the Orange Juke block, informing that GRA will address certain concerns related to the availability of qualified audit experts and is committed to ensuring that the audit process remains free from political interference. Regarding the Orange Juke block, the vice president highlighted that government has agreed in principle to approve the sale of tallow share to ECO or ECHO, whichever one, however they call it, and the exit of tallow from the block. He also touched on discussion. He also shared that discussions are ongoing concerning the renewal of the Kanuku block prospecting license, with the government considering its policy options. Now, he also took some time to talk about insurance of the 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒎 block projects, noting that the question about insurance for the 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒎 block projects was previously addressed, and it was determined that the premium paid was within industry standards. Some aspects of the insurance are handled locally, while others may be managed abroad based on cost efficiency considerations. He noted the focus should be on ensuring that the revenues generated from the 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒎 block are used effectively and transparently for the benefit of Guyana. He went on to touch on the low carbon credits, and in relation to this, the carbon credit funds are required to be placed. He noted that the carbon credit funds are required to place in a single account that will undergo audits, including international audits. The 15% allocated for indigenous communities will also be subjected to accountability and the audit process. The majority of the funds, 85%, will be directed towards adaptation of climate change and funding projects such as canal rehabilitation, coca maintenance, and improving pump capacity in various regions. Audit transparency and measures will also be in place to demonstrate responsible usage of these funds, both locally and internationally. We also learned about new carbon credits. The 3 billion figure mentioned in the context of new carbon credits is indeed in US dollars, and the specifics of whether the amount is an annual sum or accumulated over a period were not provided in the response, but we will check and see if we can get an update so we know exactly what is going on in relation to how that is supposed to be sorted out. So again, that was a brief synopsis of the Vice President's press conference. You can find it right here on the page you're viewing now, or on the Vice President's Facebook page, and have a look for yourself and learn about what was shared in your own view and have your own assessment of it. And I always encourage persons not to always take what persons feed you on social media. Go and do some research, check for yourself. I am guaranteeing you here, these things that I tell you, you could go and find them there, Google, and a credible websites to back up what I'm telling you here. Try that with the coalition. I didn't feel like giving Coretta Donkey the date today, but I see she trying some nonsense with some $1,200 borrow. I'm going down to the market today, and I can do a live there, and we can fact check Coretta's $1,200 borrow, right? You can check that today. So yesterday I told you about a letter from Freddie Kassoum. Today I want you guys to check out a letter that was written in the Guyana Times by Dr. Randolph Passad. And the title of the letter is "The AFC Owes Guyana an Official Apology." And in the letter, he touches on the AFC's initial promises. Dr. Passad highlights the lofty ideals and promises made by the AFC when it entered Guyana's political scene. These include a commitment to equality, justice, and the rule of law, as well as the protection of fundamental rights and freedoms. These promises were seen as a breath of fresh air in the country's political landscape by some persons. Now, the letter goes on to speak specifically of 3 historic betrayals by the AFC. The first one, betrayal of coalition promise. The AFC initially promised not to join forces with the authoritarian PNC, People's National Congress. but did it anyway, leading to actions that were contrary to democratic values and good governance. The second betrayal, highlighted in the letter, would be the oil contract controversy. It noted the AFC's role in the 2016 oil contract negotiations and its subsequent calls for renegotiations. Renegotiations are highlighted. This issue has become a significant point of contention in Guyana's politics. So he's basically talking about Raphael Drachman, who signed the contract, and then now coming to talk about renegotiation and the reason he signed it and a bunch of nonsense to get people vexed. Now, the third betrayal mentioned in the letter is the electoral mayhem. Now, Dr. Prasad condemned the AFC's involvement in the brazen effort to disenfranchise the entire nation during the electoral dispute of 2020, undermining the rule of law and democratic principles. Now, he goes on to talk about support for the AFC critics. Dr. Prasad mentions individuals and groups who have been critical of the AFC's actions, particularly regarding the oil contract. This includes Glenn Lal and Mike Prasad. Now, he contrasts with the opposition party. Dr. Prasad draws a sharp contrast between the behavior of the AFC and the opposition party led. Well, okay, let me just switch that around. The behavior of the opposition AFC and contrast it to the behavior of the PBPC led by Dr. Irfan Ali during the electoral dispute. And he praised their commitment to abiding by the rule of law, and despite the challenges, they didn't deviate. Now, Dr. Prasad talks about a moral dilemma. The letter raises questions of how the AFC members can reconcile their actions with their party's initial promises and the impacts of the decisions on the country. And in the end, he calls for an apology, suggesting that it is not too late for the AFC to offer a sincere apology for the betrayal that was committed, emphasizing the forgiving nature of Guyanese people. But whilst Guyanese people forgive, I'd like to remind Dr. Prasad they don't forget. They do not forget. So it is quite hard for me to see people in Guyana looking past 2020 and what happened there. Persons like me, my age range and younger, have only heard stories about these election rigging attempts and all these things, Burnham and hiding ballot box, and we only heard about those things. But 2020 gave us reality. For those who weren't around in Burnham's time, gave us reality to see the nature of the beast. So it wasn't a case where we were hearing stories and we're hearing things from people. Young people got to see for themselves what the capabilities of the PNC and PNC-led politics looks like. They got to see for themselves. And they didn't like it. They didn't like it. And I wonder sometimes, some of those persons who sat at that meeting in Maryland with Aubrey Norton, those persons who are going to the meeting in New York, do y'all remember those 28 years of Burnham? Y'all are seeing that the elections were free and fair during that period. Y'all remember what used to go on? Let's be realistic. Y'all forget that the CIA spoke about paying Burnham and you forget? We got Vishal calling in. Let's hear what he has to say. Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to the program.
I'd like to respond to it. I must celebrate with my indigenous brothers and sisters. Unlike a PNP minister or a PNU minister who did that lying statement when he mentioned about he actually used the derogatory word "buck"
Yeah.
when he said what he said, right? And you could recollect vividly what was said by him, right? But let us look at the election of 2020. Now, what puzzles me is when Mr. Norton, I don't know if he was a special invitee to that event, when he met with the VP, and he had a short discourse with the VP. I don't know if he accustomed drinking or imbibing, the 𝒄𝒐𝒑𝒚𝒓𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 Yes, we get a different sensation. So I think this man I don't think he accustomed drinking this high-end liquor. And I think he drank half the rap shot the night. Because there's a whole different reaction came from him when he consumed the high-end half the rap shot. The man feels so invincible that he was confident that he has the winning SOP that he can produce up to this day.
Up to now, brother. Up to now.
Now, another thing, one of these people want to speak in if they come from a comic university. I was based on my knowledge, right? I was told that Mr. Norton attended 𝒑𝒐𝒂𝒊𝒆𝒂𝒊𝒈𝒕 University in Russia as well.
Really? Because I mean, this make it look like the only person who went to school in Russia is the vice president.
Yeah, right? He and the vice president studied at that university around the same time. Right? But what is puzzling, the vice president is a very eloquent and knowledgeable individual who would have studied at the 𝒑𝒐𝒂𝒊𝒆𝒂𝒊𝒈𝒕 University in Russia, and many other leaders like him, right? So I don't know which part of the university Norton was a student. Which part of the university?
You don't know there's got people sitting at the back of the class?
Oh, okay. He didn't stop.
It's got people lying at the back of the class. You can't. I don't think he was the class clown because he maybe can't smile and them kind of thing, but he be at the back there doing something.
Another thing, right, that I can't understand. How could one election get 5 results? It's kind of positive. I don't think even a physicist could explain them, or a chemist. Because how could, no. And my apology. Even a mathematician can't explain the equation. In high school, you know about simultaneous equations. Even to dot, right? And matrices. I know you're familiar with these mathematical.
Yeah.
Right? Even the algebra can't ascertain, can't conceptualize. How could one election get produce 5 results?
A quadratic equation, you my God, try.
It can't solve it. It cannot be solved. How could one election produce 5 results? How could one man, I won't say arbitrarily or unilaterally, disenfranchise thousands of voters without no substantiated facts to say, well, look, because of this, that is why we have to readjust the numbers.
Right.
You have statements, the poll that they have in their possession showing that they would have lost. They knew they lost the election from the morning, actually. You understand?
Right.
But I heard about rigged elections, but 2020 was a first-hand experience. Right? So I just imagine what the ordeal was during those times when rigged election was the order of the day.
Yes, and we didn't have the technology
Exactly.
and the systems in place, the checks and balances like we do have now.
Right? Like I was listening to Courdel McDonald on one of she Facebook Live, right? Where she claimed we should disregard the statement of poll and pay more or focus more on the CARICOM report. But the CARICOM report did not support those 5 declarations. The CARICOM report expounds on deficiencies in the system, but the deficiency is not that overwhelming that would have changed
The result.
the number of the results.
Exactly.
Right?
Correct,
I am
high,
not a
bro.
university graduate, sir.
Correct, high on the Kool-Aid. Before correct go on the program, 120-gallon share drink.
My
Top to
brother,
bottom.
another thing, I think Courdel McDonald stifle or conscience, you understand, or stuck or head in the sand like an armadillo. Right? Because listen to this, Courdel McDonald, by our own confession, said that things were better under the same PPPC when the last government were in power, when the teachers started, when they had a big strike and all of that.
Yeah.
Could you recall that?
Yes.
So, my brother, what is happening? The coalition is experiencing an implosion. And the implosion is on the basis that they continue to peddle and cultivate argument, narrative, rhetoric that does not represent reality, or there's no realistic representation of those hypothesized, concocted crap. You understand?
Clearly.
You know why it's called these people Guyana and the Caribbean Force Circus? Because we never had a homegrown or regional circus originating in the region. So they, not just Guyana Circus, they elevated Caribbean Force Circus. And these people got good talent, brother. When a market stand up in the parliament and spoke so eloquent with certainty that 600 million US equivalent to 5,000 US for every man, woman, and child.
Christina, take the cake. Oh my God.
These people have good. Brethren, I tell you, please advise the president to at least bring in some real good psychiatrist management. Like I said, these people mental faculty, and they got to get a special medication for them. They prayers can't change them, and no normal medication can't change them. They got to get a special therapy. You know what I'm telling you? They probably got to use the method when Nicodemus asked Jesus about.
What method is the brother? I ain't too thing with the Bible.
You know when he asked Jesus how could a man be born again? Okay, and Jesus give you an explanation. Well, I think they need more than that. Because these are the same people that chant Jesus, you know.
Bandits chant Jesus, they chant tobacco, voodoo, all kind of thing.
I am not blaspheming, but I don't think these people recollect or they ever heard about 5 slave ships that brought African slaves or traffic or ship Africans were shipped on 5-plate ships. Jesus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fourth name the white man used to beat into the slave is the English, French, Dutch, or Portuguese name, and Jesus.
I heard about some stuff like that
back
for
in the
real.
history and see it, my brethren. Right?
Yeah. Vishal, thanks for coming through again this morning, buddy. You too. What? Jasmine, what? Yeah. So that was Vishal, regular caller on the program. Always good to hear from him. Always has very salient points and his dates and his numbers to back it up as well. You know, I like when persons are in tune and want to interact. We have another call on the line. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Courdel.
Morning, yes.
Good morning.
You're live on the program.
Yeah, I trying to. I listened to the president's speech yesterday, and the man said that when Mr. Harmon was opposition leader, Mr. Harmon used to call him.
Yes.
And now why R.B. Norton don't call him as R.B. Norton? Too old, his brains is not working.
But sir, we've seen R.B. Norton operate in a manner in which he is shown he's not, if it is his way or no way, even if his way doesn't make sense. So I guess that is the reason the president or the government does not want to go in a direction to take Guyana backward. So he's just refusing to consult. And we have persons like Mosley and the Shibral who push the agenda of the opposition by trying to paint the president in the light of not wanting consultations. I don't know if you ever saw, there was a photo when there was an actual meeting with the president and the opposition leader. He looked like he was sleeping in the meeting.
Yeah.
Right. Then he also didn't show up to several meetings that the president put for them to meet. So look, I don't know what world these people living in.
All right. The next point I want to make, you know that these people, these Afro people, make the country Guyana look very small with the half of 65. They make Guyana lost like stuck at the Caribbean.
Man, the world, sir. The world, because
right.
Mathematics is used across the world, so everybody knew that was nonsense.
Yeah, but that's why I don't hear anything more from the former Attorney General. I don't see. Listen, what I'm these people, I don't know what happened to these people, but the brains are is, and then we got some people in the I want to know. If it's the educated people destroying this world or the uneducated people, which one you feel?
Wow, that's a really good question. Or could it be that we have some uneducated people pretending to be educated destroying this world?
So what this was saying, and the part of the judiciary in they destroying this workplace.
Yeah, but I mean, sir, you as a Guyanese, you live in Guyana?
Yeah.
Based on 2015 to 2020 and from 2020 to 2023, 5 years against 3 years, in what period have you seen more development?
At least listen what I when the government did a development on
yeah. Right.
And the people don't play that they develop it. Listen what I'm saying. You know what I like with Jack do? When the man borrowing money, the man said, this is already in the budget.
Right.
This is already in the budget. You have to listen to this carefully. The man said, this is already in the budget. This one nobody. This borrowing won't affect the country.
Right.
But some people don't understand it.
My thing, even when that aside from your point there, there's always a plan to repay or how whatever the project is pays for itself, or We understand. But what can we contrast that to the other side?
The other side, I don't feel they're ready yet. They have, listen one side, I feel that they should groom some younger people in this the party. Some younger people who are now coming out of college and Queen's College, and what do you think they should groom these people? They shouldn't be, some of them should back the parliament when they die the parliament. It's here nice and soft fun thing. I just
Same thing at City Hall.
I just turned it off. We can't hear how they just behave in parliament. They're supposed to be the opposition. They should let some Amerindian people be the opposition leader, man. All right, that's my thing.
All right, thank you for coming through. So, folks, we see that Guyanese, and you hear from the callers that persons aren't being fooled. Persons are aware of what is going on. Persons are aware of the nonsense that would come from that side of the fence, and they're not willing to be led astray anymore. Persons are looking for development. They're looking for advancement. People want to start a little business. People want work. People want income. People want security in old age. People want the children to go to school, get good grades, go to UG or do the gold program, or go overseas and study and come back and build Guyana. I got an overseas caller here. I'm going to take it. Let's hear. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Am I live?
Yes, you're live. But you can't listen to the live because there's a delay. You gotta listen to the phone.
Oh. Okay. I just want the viewers to know there's a very interesting article with the eyewitness in court from Cultural News.
There's a
reference to the PNC stuck in the past. The reader should read that article.
What's the name of the article?
PNC is stuck in the past.
In Cultural News.
Yeah. Today's Cultural News.
Today's Cultural News.
Yeah. Very interesting. A lot of information.
Okay. You calling from Florida?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so, guys, have a quick read in the Culture today. The call is suggesting persons have a quick read of that article, some interesting points. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the papers today, so I probably need to go and check on that as well. But like I was saying, people want development. Farmers want help to get their crops where they need to be, their livestock where it needs to be. And they're getting that from this government. They're getting fancy numbers. And y'all notice with the attorney, Mr. Hughes, the gentleman just fling these ideas into the public and then disappear. So the 33 is the half of 65. Y'all remember the boy that they see the shooting on top of the place there? Mr. Oh gosh, what's this thing he was calling for the other day? Something, oh gosh, what was it? Supermajority, Mr. Supermajority. Fling these ideas out into the public, cause corruption, and gone back in a corner. If you notice, sharing his opinion, certain people value that opinion, then run with it, and it's corruption all around the place. Y'all got pay attention, Guyanese. Pay attention. Anyway, we're coming down to wrap up time. As I said to you guys, Heritage Month starts today. This evening, there will be a cultural extravaganza at the National Park, and the activities will continue into the month of September. So this is the calendar of activities here, and you can call the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs if you need any other information on the heritage celebrations this year. And as I said before, there is a cultural extravaganza planned at the national park today, and persons are invited to come out and be a part of that. I'm pretty sure the ministry and the persons involved will put a lot of effort into that activity. So please go out and support. I'm actually trying to get the thing up so I could see it on my screen, and I'm not finding it. So I could give you a rundown on these activities here. 2 seconds, please. So, as I was saying, yesterday there was an interfaith service at the ministry at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, and today, 1st of September, beginning of Heritage Month, there'll be a cultural extravaganza at the national park. That will start at 6 p.m. On the 2nd, from the 2nd to the 5th, Amerindian art, craft, and cuisine. This will happen daily at the Amerindian village, that is in Sapphire. Also from the 5th, from the 2nd to the 5th, also at the Amerindian village in Sapphire, in the evenings, starting from 7, there will be an Amerindian Heritage Month culture night. Well, culture nights. So that's from the 2nd to the 5th. On the 3rd, there will be an Amerindian fitness walk, starting at 6 hours from the Umaniana to the National Park. On the 9th, there'll be a heritage dinner at the Pegasus Hotel. On the 10th, there'll be a life and work of Stephen Campbell, an untold story. That will be happening at Umaniana. On the 13th, school tour at Ramadan and varying locations. On the 14th, there's the opening of the art exhibition, and that'll be at the National Art Gallery at the Castellani House. On the 17th, everybody heading to Batavia for the Heritage Village, Batavia Region 7. That activity kicks off at 10 a.m. From the 21st to the 23rd, 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔, I hope I said that right, Main Street, Georgetown. The 27th, opening of the Heritage Sports, Everest Ground. You know that is usually lit, so yeah, I can check that out. On the 28th, the continuation of the opening of the Heritage Sports on the 27th, and it commences from the 28th to the 1st of October, the Heritage Sports at the Everest Ground. Any other updates, I'll keep you guys posted as we continue. Hopefully on Monday we have somebody from the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs to take us through the paces in a little more detail in relation to what you can expect at this year's Heritage celebrations. So make sure you guys keep up to date with what's going on in relation to that. Remember, the theme for this year's Heritage Month is sustaining our culture and heritage, sustaining our cultural heritage and identity while contributing to One Guyana. That's all the time I have for this morning. It was wonderful being here with you guys. I didn't get to deal with Coretta and her Bora nonsense and Rick Fordbork and the foolishness, but Monday, let me see what's going to happen on the weekend. Let's see if the PNC produces a donkey of the day for Monday. Fresh start kind of thing. Fresh start kind of thing. It's Heritage Month. If you see an Indigenous person, say happy heritage to them, you know, and be friendly and nice, because they are friendly and nice people to deal with, you know. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you for being a part of the program. Thank you for tuning in this week. It's the last program of the week. We'll see you on Monday. Have a safe weekend. Be careful on the road. If you're going to be drinking, get somebody to drive, please. Too many accidents on the road. Look out for those motorcycle people dancing in and out of traffic. Please, right? Be safe. Peace, love. One Guyana.